Hey everybody, hope that you are doing well. So I'm sitting in my car because it's Wednesday and I am waiting to begin our weekly Wednesday exercise with Grace Davis. But while I'm in my car waiting for 5:30 to roll around, I thought I would hop on and just have like a quick conversation with you, because as we get ready to prepare for our 21-day challenge, I know many of you guys are starting to put into place just healthy systems and procedures to make sure that you are the most successful. So I want to talk about, what do we do when our spouse or when our kids or when our loved ones, when they are not on the same healthy journey as we are? What do you do when you live with someone, whether it be your husband, whether it be your wife, and they are not interested in eating healthy? So I'm just going to share a couple of tips, and I'm going to share a little bit about my own personal story. So right now, my husband and I, we've been married for 7 years, going on to 8 years. And my husband, he's been having some health concerns with his body. You know, as we get older, there are things that, systems and organs and all things that we need to pay a little bit more attention to. Now, the doctors have given him recommendations for the type of foods that he should eat. And I will say that over the past couple of months, he's been getting a lot better with paying attention to those meals. But he and I, we are not necessarily on the same wavelength when it comes to what we eat. In the beginning, I was very controlling, and I would try to, shame or condemn him. If I felt that God had given me a specific plan of eating, then, I couldn't understand why, my husband wasn't hearing from the Lord about eating as well. But I found that by me pressuring him or trying to shame him or, condemn him, when he wanted to eat fast food or eat unhealthy food, that was not really the spirit of love, and it really was not encouraging him to be healthy. It actually made him really go the opposite way, just kind of do what he wanted to do. So I have learned that my journey is my journey, and my husband's journey is his journey. And now I pray as a wife that God will speak to my husband, just as God is speaking to me and has given me revelation about the type of foods that I eat and how foods can really change our lives. That just as God speaks to me, I pray that, God will speak to my husband. I also believe too that, we all have different calls and purposes. Like my husband and I, we're both in ministry, but I do believe that God has called me specifically to a food, nutrition, healthy eating ministry. And just because God has called me to this area, it doesn't necessarily mean that God has also called Al to this level. So I also try to keep that in mind too. So I just say all of this, that maybe your spouse isn't interested in going vegetarian or vegan, or maybe they aren't interested in hearing from God about their food triggers and abstaining from those food triggers like we're going to do over these 21 days. I want to just encourage you to focus on you, for you to be obedient to God and listen to what God is telling you, and in turn, just be in prayer about your family members and your loved ones. Sometimes our greatest testimony is by us just being obedient to God. And that when people see us walking in obedience, when they see us walking in discipline, when they see us walking in self-control, God can use that as examples to soften their heart so they can hear directly what God is saying to them about their diet and about ways to take care of their bodies. I had a conversation with someone today, and she was sharing about just kind of food triggers. We were talking very briefly about that, and she shared that her spouse really enjoys sweets. And her spouse is kind of like my spouse, where my spouse can eat potato chips. A bag of potato chips can stay in our house for 3 to 4 weeks. you know, if it's just my husband's, if they are his chips. But if I were to eat those chips, they are gone probably like within 30 minutes to 24 hours because that is one of my binge foods. So one of the recommendations that I was sharing with her as she was sharing how, you know, her husband keeps a lot of sweets and those sweets are triggers to her, that they're not a trigger to him, but it's a trigger to her, that if she eats one at this stage of her life, it causes her to overeat. So one suggestion that I gave her that I try to implement in my house is that my husband, he has his own cabinet where his treats are. So instead of me trying to control him and say, well, you know, we're not going to have treats in the house because they cause me to binge, instead of, you know, doing that, he has his own cabinet in our house, and that's where all of his treats go. And there's a door, and I don't have any business to go in his cabinet to see his treats, and that reduces the trigger for me. So these are just kind of examples. I will say also that in this season, I do find myself sometimes cooking 2 meals, that there have been times where my husband was like, I don't want to eat that. Or we've eaten this, you know, 2 days in a row and I don't want to eat that. So there are times also where I find myself preparing a meal for him and preparing a meal for myself. I like to batch cook and I can eat leftovers. Like, I don't have a problem with that. My husband, he has a limit. But just as a wife, you know, I find myself sometimes cooking, you know, 2 different meals to make sure that, you know, he's okay and that I am still able to stick to my goals and to eat foods that I feel are good for me. It's not as bad as it used to be because my husband is more or less kind of coming along the train of what I put before him. He's okay. But like this week, we had chicken. I cooked a whole bunch of chicken. And, you know, it's easy for me to just microwave it and eat it. But my husband was like, I don't want chicken. So I had some beef. And at this time, I don't eat beef. So some days I'm cooking, you know, 2 different meals. But you know, I just do what I have to do as a wife to, you know, take care of him, but also making sure that I'm taking care of myself as well. So for some of you, you may find that you are cooking two meals, that maybe your spouse isn't ready to, you know, eat the way how you know, feel like God is calling you to eat. But I just want to encourage you that God will give you grace. God will give you grace to serve your family and also to take care of you as well. So I hope that this encourages you guys. I'm going to go ahead and walk into the place where we are going to be working out so you can at least see it. Okay, I know it's kind of sunny, but even though our 21-day challenge, it hasn't officially begun, we are, for those of you that are interested, you can start coming out every Wednesday for the 21-day challenge, where we're going to be exercising with Ever Grace Davis. So it's at Faith Church, inside of Faith Church, the Earth City campus. And we meet every Wednesday at 5:30. There's this side door that I am entering in. It's next to, I don't know if you could see that sign, the north entrance. And she usually leaves it open, propped with a chair. So I'm gonna take you in just so you can see it. So you can, hi Grace, how are you? Oh man, I'm sweaty. I'm good. So I'm on live right now just so people can see like the area where we work out at. So you wanna say hi? So y'all, this is Ever Grace. She's the one that leads the workout.
Hello. So, you might have seen me with my hat on.
I know, it's kind of a shadow. But if you come on Wednesdays, this is the lady that's going to be leading us in fitness. Okay? So y'all come on out.
Come on out, y'all.
So we can have a good time. So, all right, y'all. Well, I'm going to go ahead and get ready for our workout class that's going to start. The great thing about working out with Grace is that she's always here. She's very consistent. She's faithful. She looks at this as a ministry. But her workouts are all like gospel music, so it's clean. It's not crazy stuff. and everybody here is real friendly, and you can work out at your own pace. So if you haven't worked out in a while, it's okay. You know what I'm saying? You could come here and just move. And so for our 21 days, it's not about how many pounds you've lost. I believe that you are going to lose weight because we're going to be obeying God and listening to Him about what He wants us to do with our bodies. But really, this is 21 days for us to slow down, hear from God about our eating, and also begin to move more. Okay? That's what this is all about. So, all right, guys, thanks for letting me share a little bit. I hope that this was helpful for you. And I'll be back on to talk with you soon. So, all right, y'all, have a good one. Bye.